Good afternoon. This week's discussion is about size and scale, a topic covered at length by Dr. Donald Livingston in the lectures, but I'd like to focus primarily on Livingston's work entitled David Hume, Republicanism, and the Human Scale of Political Order by the Abbeville Institute Press, 2014. So instead of dealing at length with the philosophy of Aristotle and Thomas Hobbes as Livingston does, I'd like to focus on the Scottish political theorist David Hume and how size and scale are related to the morality of society. Let's touch first on Aristotle and Hobbes' influence on Hume, and we can then move to the substance of Hume's philosophy. According to Livingston, Hume was a big proponent of consensus building, and he positioned his own philosophy between the pursuit of virtue derived from Aristotle's philosophy and the pursuit of power derived from Hobbes' philosophy. Hume sought the tension between both. Furthermore, while Aristotle positioned his virtuous society as small and personal, Hobbes was sterile, impersonal, and enormously large. From Hume's Of the Rise and Progress of the Arts and Sciences, he asserts that extended governments soon become absolute, whereas small ones change naturally into commonwealths. Again from Hume, all small states naturally produce equality of fortune because they afford no opportunities of great increase, but small commonwealths much more by that division of power and authority which is essential to them. And finally, a small commonwealth is the happiest government in the world within itself, because everything lies under the eye of the ruler. Increasing the size and scale of the polity only dilutes the benefits a human scale republic offers. Yet, as we know, Hume was not for the breakup of vast nations or great monarchies, and instead desired nations like France and Great Britain to be made into layered republics where the human scale could be progressed upward and outward, as was discussed in Hume's idea of a perfect commonwealth and analyzed in Livingstone's many lectures. In David Hume, Republicanism, and the Human Scale of Political Order, Livingston continues by saying that Hume's extensive republic is designed to check the centralization of power, which is the death of the human scale political order in a large modern state, whether of monarchical or republican form, and that everywhere there is a check on majority rule, and Hume's polity is one in which the people enjoy considerable political participation. Yet there is an ever present danger of factions within the political strata, which stifles republicanism and self government. In Federalist Number 10, James Madison wrote about the dangers of factions and the ways to counter that danger. Yet, according to the works of Mark Spencer and Douglas Adair, Madison would turn to Hume's idea of a perfect commonwealth as a major key to battling factions in the Republic. According to Spencer, Madison would turn to idea of a perfect commonwealth in writing Federalist Number 10, particularly Hume on factions and the public interest. Though it is more difficult to form a republic government in an extensive country than in a city, there is more faculty, when once it is formed, of preserving in steady and uniform without tumult or factions. In a large government which is modeled after masterly skill, there is a compass and room enough to refine the democracy from the lower people who may be admitted into the first elections or first concoctions of the Commonwealth to the higher magistrates who direct all the movements. At the same time, the parts are so distant and remote that it is very difficult, either by intrigue, prejudice, or passion, to hurry them into any measures against the public interest. Political theorist Jean Yarborough agrees. In Representation and Republicanism, Two Views, Yarborough says the architects of the Constitution sought to join the states in an extended federal republic because they were convinced by the arguments of David Hume that largeness would help combat the evils of faction. Size isn't necessarily weakness, and in some cases, the distance between the human scale republics actually reduced the immorality and corruptive ways factions and special interests. As Douglas Adair wrote in Fame and the Founding Fathers, Hume had turned the small territory republic theory upside down. If a free state could once be established in a large area, it would be stable and safe from the effects of faction. In an area as vast as the United States, with a people as varied and different as Americans can be, Madison saw strength in numbers and in size. Madison wrote in Federalist Number 10 that extend the sphere and you take in a greater variety of parties and interests. You make it less probable that a majority of the whole will have a common motive to invade the rights of other citizens. Or, if such a common motive exists, it will be more difficult for all who feel it to discover their own strength and to act in unison with each other. It's through Madison and the other founders that we get to see Hume's philosophy take shape, and it resonates throughout the document of the United States Constitution. I'd like to conclude with the words of Mark Arkin from The Intractable Principle, David Hume, James Madison, Religion, and the 10th Federalist. Hume emphasizes that people are by nature endowed with a ready sympathy and interest in one another. Accordingly, they cannot help live together in society and take a disinterested moral attitude towards one another, as reason must, in Hume's ethical theory, serve the moral sentiments, so government, as an agent of reason, builds upon its initial social impulse for the general good. Thank you.